Okay, so this came about thanks to Olivia Jarvis, right? So yeah, she sent me across uh an old film. This isn't a new one, right? This was Cross of Iron. Okay, it is directed by Sam Peckinpah, written by Julius J. Epstein, Walter Kelley, and James Hamilton. It's adapted from Willi Heinrich's book of the same name. The film is produced by Alex Wintiski, Arlene Sellers, Wolf C. Hartwig, executive produced by Lou Grade, co-produced by Lothar H. Kreischer, and associate produced by Pat Duggan. Ernst Gold handles the music, John Quinlan, cinematography, Herbert Taschner, Murray Jordan, Tony Lawson, and Michael Ellis were on editing duties. Production design is Ted Horwath and Brian Auckland Snow. Veljko Despotkovic handled the art direction. Hair and makeup, we've got Evelyn Dohoring and Colin Arthur. Production management is Dieter Noob. And our cast. Well, we have got Sergeant Rolf Steiner, played by James Coburn. Captain Hauptmann Stransky is played by Maximilian Schell. Colonel Oberst Brandt is played by James Mason. Captain Hampton Kiesel is played by David Warner. Corporal Kruger, I think, is played by Klaus Lutsk. Private Gefrit Kern is played by Vadim Glauner. Lieutenant Treyberg is played by Robert Fix. We got Corporal Schoenbrett, played by Fred Stillcroft. Right. Zoll is played by Arthur Bruce. Eva is played by Centerberger. I mean, there's a load of other people, all the soldiers and the whatnot. Now, the gist of this is in 1943, on the Russian front, decorated leader Rolf Steiner is promoted to sergeant after another successful mission. Meanwhile, upper-class, arrogant Persian captain Hauptmann Stransky is assigned as the new commander of his squad. After a bloody battle of Steiner's squad against the Russian troops led by the brave Lieutenant Meyer, who dies in combat, the coward Stransky claims that he led his squad against the Russian and requests to be awarded with the Iron Cross to satisfy his personal ambition together with that of his aristocratic family. Stransky gives the names of Steiner and of his homosexual lieutenant Treberg as a witness of his accomplishment. But Steiner, who has problems with the army's chain of command and with Stransky's arrogance, refuses to participate in the fraud. When Colonel Brandt gives the order to leave the position in the front. Stransky does not retransmit the order to Steiner's quad, and they are left alone, surrounded by the enemy, and have to fight to survive. Whoa. I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? Now, you might be like, why the fuck are you looking at a 1977 film? Well, simple, people, because Studio can now have reissued, right? They've done a stunning 4K restoration, right? Which will be coming out on UHD Steelbook, Blu-ray, and DVD with new bonus material and all of that jazz, right? So, yeah, I mean, there's a whole heap of behind the scenes footage even. And did you know Orson Welles described this as one of the greatest anti-war films ever made? Right? And watching it, yeah, this is, oh, you know what I mean? Now, I say this a lot, but I had no clue what the fuck to expect from this, right? Because I think we've all seen war films, right? And the way they tell the story, sometimes, you know, it's disillusioned soldiers, right? But there's this message or, you know, there's this running through kind of thing. Sometimes it's like the vitriol, right? To claim that this war was a righteous war and everything. This is just some bleak ass shit. This is not pretty. This is horrendous. The amount of just atrocities that we see, just the death, the explosions, you know, people just being sent across. It's dark as fuck, man. It really is. It's so just like, yo. And the other, you know, the other big thing here, it's the it's just the lies, right? The lies for advancement. As mentioned, Stransky is making these claims, and you're seeing it and how he's got these other soldiers on his side, right? There's this bit where he's talking to a couple of low-down soldiers and basically being like, yo, there's no women, so what are you prepared to do? You know what I mean? And he gets these two guys, one older, one young kid, to be like, oh, I mean, yeah, whatever you want, bro. You know what I mean? Which is just like, yo. But we see this, and it's just like, you know, over the years, things have come out about, you know, the dishonesty, the lies, the cheating, right? The abuse of power. So you're watching this and you're just being like, yeah, obviously this happened. But then you start to think, how much of this happened, right? How many people got awarded medals like the Iron Cross and the equivalent? You know, I think there was it's the Cross of George or something, St. George's Cross, something like that over here, right? But how many people got that shit who did not deserve it, right? Who hid and lied about what they did? Because we see people do it in the boardroom, right? We see managers take credit for work they did not do. So it's just chilling to see this, right? And then just the things that Stransky will do to get what he wants. So there's that. But then on top of all of this, right, on top of just the death and destruction, people getting blown up, you know, we see shell shock. And we see that. We see like the way women, you know, got it. right? Those sorts of things. The fact that, you know, the Russians were using women as soldiers, right? And again, that's something that must have happened all over the spot, right? But we're just seeing these different situations and the way certain people act in these situations. It's just, yeah, not nice, not pretty. It's chilling. It was grim, fucking grim. But the other interesting thing was when people get injured and taken off the front line, sent to hospital, right? How they cope with that situation, right? The need to go back, even though you could be gone. You've got a pass. You've been wounded. You could go home. And how some people, there's nothing else, right? That's the identity. If they're not doing that, what else are they doing? Even then, right? They've gone back by choice. But you can see they don't love the army. They hate the army. They hate the bureaucracy. But they're back. They went back. And you're just baffled, right? It is crazy. And although this is a film, these are things we know have happened, right? We've had anecdotal, you know what I mean? Footage, information, reports that so many people did this, right? And that's the thing with everything that we see. It's backed up by history, you know? So you're watching this feature, this film, and it's not glorious, you know? It's not glorious at all, right? So when Orson Welles says this is one of the best anti-war films, you can see why, right? Like, we're dealing with the Germans, you know, so it's, you know, you're watching the Germans against the Russians, and it's just like, huh, right? Germans, obviously, we know what happened in the war. We also know there's a load of people fighting that did not really have a choice, you know? It was either join the army or die, you know? But it's just like, are we rooting for Germans? Like, in the war? Like, what the fuck? And the Russians weren't, you know, they did some crazy shit. So we're seeing all of this, and, you know, certain things you can see why someone would feel justified doing it, you know? It's just the crazy situations, being stuck behind enemy lines. The way this is told is so visceral, right? You do feel like you're watching real footage. You know, it's just crazy. This whole thing is crazy. So well done. So well done, right? When you compare it to some modern war films, this is better. You know, this is better for sure. So I think you know, if you enjoy history, right? If you enjoy that look at, you know, this horrendous time, right? Seeing how different people coped and handled that situation, then Cross of Iron, people, that's the film for you. That's the film for you. So on Monday, the 31st, that is when you will be able to own this, right? As mentioned on Steelbook, Blu-ray, or DVD. So there, you know, with these new features, which will be available on the Steelbook, Blu-ray, and DVD, you've got audio commentary by filmmaker and film historian Mike Siegel. You know, there is let's try and new promoting Steiner thing. There's a new Steiner on the set, new filming Steiner, part 1 and 2. You know, there's On Location with Sam Peckinpah, right? On Location with James Coburn, On Location with Maximilian Schell. The same with James Marsden, Dave Warner. Those features are only available on the Steelbook and the Blu-ray. You know, actually, all of the ones just mentioned are only available on the Steelbook and Blu-ray. I think the commentary is on all three. Okay, so there's the Passion and Poetry, Sam Peckinpah's War. That's on the Steelbook and the Blu-ray. So yeah, there's all of these features and more, people, and more. So yeah, on the 31st, you can own all of that. The links for all three are on the website. So yeah, drop by and yeah, pick yourself up a Steelbook, a Blu-ray, or a DVD of the 1977 classic Cross of Iron.